Okay. Hello, John.
No, I don't.
So today we're going to talk about President Bill Clinton versus President Trump. There's a big difference between the two men. I just want to read you out a few things about the presidency of Bill Clinton in the 1990s and the prosperity that was both in Ireland and America. So under President Clinton in the 90s, unemployment in America was very, very, very low. Okay. So he was able to help Ireland enormously, and he was able to help his own country enormously. And I can't remember who his economic advisor was at the time. Do you?
I thought it was another J.K. Galbraith. I think he was around that time. He was an economist and an advisor on world affairs. He had a good influence. I think he was believed in the market economy kind of thing that the American and the United States practice, and it's a good principle to for industry. And I think he didn't industry thrived when he was there. I don't think they had a problem with that they developed maybe after Clinton was there. Clinton was good. You had Obama, you had Bush for the bit, and then you had Obama, and I think the balance of payments went peculiar under his tenure, and he's the man that's credited with this abortion. I don't know if in Billy Clinton's time that was a factor. I don't think it was, but he certainly did great work for Ireland. There's no question or doubt about that.
So I
And he
just
was
want,
a younger man, of course.
he was much younger
So
than
he,
Trump. Yeah, yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
and he 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 helped the peace effort in Northern Ireland. And he appointed Senator Mitchell there, I think the man was, and he was an honest broker to bring the two sides together. And he also did a very important thing. Jerry Adams was not allowed to enter the United States because he was considered a terrorist. But he denied that he was. But suffice to say, President Bill Clinton gave him a visa, and he was able to enter the United States. So all these factors, and John Hume was a great peacemaker as well, and
Okay, so
he,
yeah, I
he
just want to read out a few things first before we get started. Is that okay?
right, yeah, certainly.
Okay. So the surge in foreign direct investment during the 1990s, Ireland experienced a major increase in foreign direct investment in the 1990s. The surge was a key driver of the Celtic Tiger economic boom. Um, and it's foreign direct investment inflows are widely credited for Ireland's rapid economic expansion during this period. Okay, so there was a lot of Bill Clinton was telling companies go to Ireland, go to Ireland. I remember him several times hearing that in the 1990s. And of course, he was telling them that with low corporation tax, who access to the single European market, IDA was there to play a crucial role in attracting and supporting foreign investment. And he was telling companies like Amazon, Apple, Boston Scientific, Dell, Facebook, all of them go to Ireland because this is a great place to be. And we had low taxes, a strong education system, high quality of life, a pro-business environment, and with low wages at the time. And this was at the beginning of the internet era. Remember, the internet was rolled out in Ireland about 1991, 1992. So it was a very exciting time, and now here we are. So,
Yes.
so we're now at some. I think we're at something like there's been a drop in foreign direct investment in the last year or two, from 50 billion to 1.3 trillion in 2023. So you can see the amount of investment of America in Ireland is enormous. It won't be very, very easy for Trump to just take it all away, but he might be able to do it over a couple of years, but not in his term for 4 years if he survives the term, because what he's doing
No,
is
well,
absolutely crazy.
he's I don't know what he has. You see, he's older, and he was president there for 4 years before, and he feels the election was stolen from him in some ways. But be that as it may, he's come in now, and he's a man in a hurry because of his age, and also because the United States, for one reason or another, has a severe balance of payments problem under the Democrats, which are normally good for the country. United States. Their balance of payments went very poor, and they were important more than they were producing in some ways, and they produced quite a bit, I must say. And so President Trump has gone ballistic in some ways as regards putting taxes on countries, and I think myself, of course, being of an older generation and not and never inclined to do things in a hurry. Do things gradual. If you have an agenda, just give yourself space to do it without antagonizing people so much. Do it in such a way as that is you're doing it not just to make a country, make the United States great again. That seems a kind of a selfish, May Fain attitude in some ways. It might be admirable, but it's not a great quality, I don't think. To make it successful, I suppose, and that it's an attractive country for people to invest in and so on and so forth, which I think it always was, but maybe it got a bit top heavy with various taxes and things that others put on. So I think he's lowered the tax rate in the United States for some reason. He's lowered the corporation tax and all the rest of it, and he's trying to increase employment more quickly than it might be prudent to do. I think you don't. One thing that's not too good to antagonize too many people in that way, and I don't know whether he is antagonizing them that much because don't forget our Taoiseach, stroke Prime Minister Micheál Martin paid a visit on St Patrick's Day, and then we had that great representative of Ireland in the martial arts area, Conor Gregory. He got a good welcome there on St Patrick's Day, the day itself, and seemed to get on very well with President Trump. And he had a family there, and it seemed to be a very jolly occasion. And he hadn't, and he kind of had bad words to say about here the way that they have allowed too many people to enter the country and cause problems, which they have. But he was, he's been condemned by the crowd, the usual crowd that you'd expect, me on Martin and all these. But he got on well, and a lot of people supported him. We did a video supporting him, and because he speaks his mind, and when he won the titles, he had the green, white, and gold wrapped around him. He's proud of his Irish. Is being Irish, and he's proud of it. So I think that's always a good omen. He doesn't hide his light under a bushel, if the fellow says he's successful, and I hope he become involved with helping us in the Christian TV or to get established as a television station to try and bring back as many of our brothers and sisters that have gone astray, bring them back to the Catholic faith. But we're talking about now. I digress there for a bit about the economic situation, and let's hope that the American companies have made a big investment here by way of premises and all the rest of it. And the one negative thing here in this country is that the price of houses is too high, and that's a disincentive, I think, for people to locate here going forward because you want to be able to, whatever money you're earning, to be able to afford a house, a suitable house for to rear your family if you're getting married and that kind of you're that age. So we have negativity as regards the price of houses.
Yeah, look, I think when I seen President Trump holding up the tariffs on a big board, right? He looked like somebody that was at the bookies. You know those bookies that you see in the races, okay? They stand open a box.
What a board. Yeah.
That's what I thought, and or else a schoolmaster, and these are the figures we'll achieve. This is what you got to do in this class today. it was very, very basic, and he got his point across. But I think the way he's gone about everything is completely and utterly wrong. It's a disaster.
Yeah, well, say he's a man in a hurry, and I think the best thing is to just do get what you want to do, and do it in a more prudent way that doesn't antagonize too many people. He says that there's a balance of payments problem, with all the stuff that they were important, and that was having a negative effect on their own economy. So he wants to try and balance that, but he's doing it a bit on the quick side. But however, he lives there, and he has the authority and the power to implement things and that, and he's not letting the other crowd draw breath sort of thing because he's imposing, and he he's also in some ways pro-life because he mentioned in his inauguration address, male and female. He made them, so he's not into the gender business. He's banned that as regards in the army or anywhere else. That none of this policy that Democrats introduced, and creating division in families with regard to the gender business. So he's dealing with that, and he's standing up for the Catholic faith, Catholics that are against abortion. And if doctors don't want to practice it, they won't be prosecuted and made to do something that's against their conscience. To kill the innocent is definitely against the conscience, and really, it's a very strange thing that they brought in such a thing to kill the innocent, the way that the amount that has been killed by their mothers are this making this abortion legal, and these governments will have a lot to answer for in due course for what they've done, and the gender evil and all the rest of it.
I
We
think
had it in this country.
I
200
just
children went over to the Tavistock. So we're talking about we're morphing into various other things. And one thing about Trump, he's in favour of family life, and he says the country that prays together stays together. What our great venerable, he should be a saint, Patrick Peyton, Father Patrick Peyton, made a rosary worldwide. So President Trump has those good qualities, to my way of thinking, and he's not a Catholic, but people hope that he will become a Catholic, believe it or not. So he has some support.
I think
Not probably from other countries, but he has support in the United States.
John Malone. I think that a lot of people were wondering, I was always wondering when in the 90s when Bill Clinton was around, I was a fan of Bill, and I was wondering how much power does the president really have? Is it really Bill that's pulling the strings? But here you can see that one man, Trump, has power and he's affecting the entire world more than Putin, more than anybody else in the world he's affecting. The biggest problem with his effect is uncertainty. That's the killer. That kills everything. Nobody can plan anything.
Gosh,
Nobody
yeah,
could do anything.
I think his overall objective is to have as much industry um, done in the United States as regards in the traditional areas that there were car manufactured and all the rest of it. That seems to be his goal. And don't forget, he was in business from a young age. He was given 10 million, I think, by his father, and he made a good success of that what he was given, and he become very wealthy in his own right with his own private jet, and I mean a big jet, not just one of these little jets
Learjet.
that yeah. So he was successful in business. So if he was successful in business, he obviously had to just do things in a certain, and he was successful. And even he was interviewed years ago before he ever, but his views about the economy was pretty good. I thought I saw him interviewed by a well-known interviewer at the time for CNN when CNN were more outgoing. Now they're a different breed than what they were. The television companies in the United States have gone left, too left, and too supportive of what's pure evil, which is the killing of the innocent and the vulnerable and the young children being their biological sex made as if it doesn't count. So you can't do things like that. And President Trump, at least, is doing something about that, which is good. But it's been overshadowed with this other thing. And
Now,
so I hope it'll settle down. It's stormy waters at the moment, but it doesn't always stay stormy, does it? Doesn't
I
often
think
calm down eventually.
I think what Trump is doing at the moment is very, very, very old-fashioned. And I think when people look back in 10 years' time, they're going to laugh at it. He's going to probably create a recession with the way he's going, right? But if you go back to the 1990s, so the 1990s, you had the beginning of the internet. It was this great thing that here's me and you talking today now because of the internet that was came about in the 1990s, right?
Correct.
And we got fiber eventually, fiber broadband, and everything's great. But now in the Trump era, so in the Bill Clinton era, you had the internet beginning. Now you have artificial intelligence, and you can see what we did with it, with a song about yourself, how quickly we could create a song in two minutes.
Exactly.
Okay,
But it was the first one, the first song you made. I thought that might go because I thought that was very good. The first one. I didn't get to put that up because I thought that that was one good one, and it would
but
go further
the
than the
point
other one.
I'm making here is, okay, that if I were Trump
Artificial.
and if I were all the other countries, I'd have an artificial intelligence meeting and say, let's see if we can do this a better way with computer science to balance the payments of trade in the world. It would be a more logical, intelligent way to do things rather than holding up a board and saying to people, we're giving you 100% of a tariff and you won't be able to feed your
Well,
family.
he is in favour of artificial intelligence and they're developing that, so it'll settle down, I think,
I hope so.
Oliver, in due course. A bit stormy at the moment, but it won't continue that way, and it'll settle down and peace and prosperity. Don't forget, we have peace and prosperity. We have an unnecessary war in Ukraine by Russia, and they'd want to sort of wake up from whatever anger they're suffering from in that country, in the leadership, and peace is a great virtue, and blessed are the peacemakers, Jesus said on the Sermon on the Mount, they shall inherit the heaven and the earth. The peacemakers. So we're on that journey ourselves, and I think President Trump means well. That's my view. But he's using a sledgehammer in some ways to crack a nut. So let's hope it'll settle down and calm waters will prevail.
Now you're talking John Malone. Hope and prosperity for all.
Correct, and steadfastness and respect life from conception to natural death. You and me is here, and I'm here, and marching up the tree of life. Thanks for the goodness, and then enjoying fairly reasonable health, having regard for the time machine, shall we say? And so I take a kind of a philosophical view of anything that occurs, like the United States is a great country to my way of thinking, the land of the free. It had gone astray. There was a lot of violence, unnecessary, and that kind of thing. And I think it's settling down under President Trump in some ways. He might be doing a few things that leave a bit of questions, but it'll settle down. Believe you me, it'll settle down and it'll be calm waters because President Trump, don't forget he was in business and he has a certain instinct.
Now you're talking.
We were in business, but and in a small way, and we know the slings and arrows that occur in that area, and we have experience of all these things, and let's hope that in regard to President Trump that he'll take it handy, and he look kindly on this country without sort of putting us to the pin of our collar and suddenly one's coming up, the opportunities might be as good as they might have been before, shall we say, because there's plenty of employment. But as you said, 70% of the exports is accounted for by all these companies that are located here. That's not a good omen. We'd want to be exporting more food, like Terry Co-op and all these ones.
So, so
More,
by
more,
by
more food.
by 1998, US owned companies accounted for 70% of Irish industrial exports under Bill Clinton. That was in 1998. Yeah,
Yeah,
but now
yeah,
it's in the trillions, so
well, I saw with the percentage now, we wonder what the percentage is now, but we do have food companies, and Kerry Co-op is a great example of one of those that started small and is now as a international brand. You'll get Kerrygold butter in every market, and you'll get various other products that they produce, and they've done a great job. And we used to have a thing called Board Banya, that give great training to people, and the IDA, as you mentioned, the Industrial Development Authority, and so they all did good work. And I'll mention one fella that was, I think, when President Trump was there, that had great influence, and I didn't hear you mention him, but I happen to know him. Ambassador Dermot Gallagher from Shannon that I was in school with. His father was a sergeant, and his brother Brian Gallagher was a headmaster of a community school in Tala. And Dermot Gallagher joined the foreign service and become ambassador to the United States. I think when President Bill Clinton was there, so he had a good role to play too. Don't forget.
yeah, I think the whole Clinton era was surrounded by a bunch of like-minded geniuses that were all very good, and Bill Clinton was very young, and I think that, as you mentioned there, the age of Donald Trump may be a factor in him trying to do everything in a hurry.
Correct, yeah. And but Donald Trump was successful in business, and he employed a lot of people. He built a lot of hotels and houses and all the rest of it. He did it quite a lot, and he gave a lot of employment, and he still does. And his mother, this I didn't hear this mentioned, and I certainly, if I was in Micheál Martin's shoes, I'd have mentioned it when he might have been talking about tax. I said, listen, President Donald John, I'll call you Donald John. Do you mind if I call you that? And your mother was a great admirer of the tenor. Um, your man from Tipperary, what's his name? He was interviewed with RTE, and his mother enjoyed this tenor. From Tipperary, he died. What almighty, his name's just popped out in my head. Anyways, he was there interviewed, and this RTE interviewer lady, and she was good at the time, and it was a very happy interview. And she was interviewed his mother, and she was a great admirer of this tenor. And he sang in the White House as well.
Oh, yes,
And
you're thinking of what's his name? Brendan. Was it Brendan?
no, not Brendan. It was
Frank Patterson.
Frank
Frank
Patterson. Yeah,
Patterson. Yes.
correct. He was a good tenor, and he was there, and she was very fond of his singing. So, the Scottish blood and well, no, he didn't sing. He sang tenors, and he was very good. He sang at the Pope John Paul when he played it here in '79. He sang Panis and Angelicus at that. It was at it. So, suffice to say that that's what I would have said. Don't be too hard on her. And your mother was very fond of Frank Patterson and his singing and all the rest of it. So you take it, and she spoke very highly about you as well, Donald. So take a little leaf out of her book and be gentle with Ireland. After all, we were on the periphery of Europe, and we suffered under the British for centuries and persecution and all the rest of it before we got our freedom.
I will say, John Malone,
Our,
that to say be gentle is a nice way to put it, but there's another thing as well that we are forgetting. What we are forgetting, John Malone, is that there are 92 nationalities in Ireland. We have 92 languages, probably. And Ireland, on the it's on the foot of Europe there, just on the outskirts, okay, with 92 languages, children coming up, teenagers growing up. We've got a great workforce.
We have a variety of languages, and funny enough, you mentioned that there was a shop in Navan that used to get stuff in. It was a Centra, and he closed, and it's been closed for a bit, but now it's open under a Brazilian, and it says your own shop, Brazilians, and the same supermarket is open now, and it's owned by Brazilian.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't think there was that many Brazilians knocking around Navan, but there must be because I see a lot of different sorts of faces and I don't know where they're from. And I don't feel like stopping and asking them where you happen to be from.
So
And funny enough, when I was in Navan this morning, I passed a lady from wherever she's from, Europe somewhere, and I put something into her little bit, and she knows me now. And she greeted me very friendly. I drop in €1 or something, maybe €2 or whatever I happen to have. I dropped in €1 this morning, and I get a good greeting. And then when I'm coming back after getting a few items in the Duns, I buy these kind of shirts or these t-shirts or the like vests, but they're only €4 and they're up to your neck, and I find them good. Now, not going to be wearing them much in the summer, but they're great in the winter. And they're only €4 there and done. So I bought some of them and I bought a couple of shirts now. Not that I'm short of shirts, I've more shirts in. I could sell shirts, but I always appreciate a shirt. And I've got a couple of blue ones for a change because I have a lot of white ones. And but I'm digressing now again.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're getting rambling on there forevermore, John Malone. Okay. And the people looking on at you wondering, where is this conversation going? Anyway, I want to ask you about Navan because it's one of my favorite towns. I like Navan.
Yeah.
The Brazilian shop that you're talking about, is that beside the new school on Railway Street?
No. That's right. Brainbury Street is up somewhere. This is the main street. They call it Trimgate Street. It's the main street in and you have the McDonald's there, you have the Catholic Church St. Mary's Catholic Church there in the main street. Do you know what that is?
I do. Of course, I know where the church is.
Yeah, no. But that's the main street, and opposite the church, it was this supermarket, and I used to get stuff in it, and I knew the lad. I think I supplied him with something too at one stage, shouldn't wonder. But in any event, it closed, and he didn't seem to be doing the business he was. And I found him a good, jolly shop, and but sometimes that happens, doesn't it? But now it's a Brazilian. It was closed there for a few years. After must be only open recently again. I only noticed it today. And a Brazilian shop, Brazilian customers, your own shop in Ireland. It says in the window or something like that. So there you are. So there's Brazilians knocking around in Navan and plus a whole heap of other ones from, as you said, I have a feeling there's 72 different nationalities there. So they're all rabbiting on in their own language, and probably they can speak a bit of English as well. So as you rightly say, it can be an asset.
Oh, absolutely.
You've got to look at the opportunities, haven't you?
100%.
And here we are with all these languages and with all these companies that we have here that are exporting all over the world and particularly into Europe. And we have all this educated workforce because I saw more children coming. It must be Wednesday. It must have a kind of a half day. Jesus, thousands of them come out here, there, and yonder, and wearing uniforms, all very well
Well,
talked out in different nationalities.
my friend who was 80 years of age at the time said something to me, and he said that, Oliver, the thing about getting old is we forget about what's coming behind us, the children behind us. That's what he said. We're so busy looking
Well,
forward that we don't look back.
well, as I say, well, the way I do it, I certainly each day is a gift. So I put my best foot forward each day. I don't be meandering about the president, except I see the president as a good vehicle for to where you happen to be, and you take a few wrong turns during the way, we all do, but then you steady the ship and you're into, say, calm waters. This is what I'm talking about, Trump. You steady the ship and then you're into calm waters, and everybody is whistling. Happy as Larry. It's the same as the birds that I have out here whistling and looking for me now. To be looking for their food.
Do you feed
Round
them
about
twice a
this
day?
time it's going out.
You
Eh?
feed them? Do you feed them in the morning and the evening?
I do, and they'll be out there waiting. And then I sit outside in the sun house to make sure no bloody crows comes around because they got in a bad habit when I had this business of the lights out for nearly a week, and I had to get rid of a lot of stuff out of the deep freeze, and I used a lot of it for the crows, and they'd eat something, so they got in a bloody habit.
So
But my
you're
kids, I rode the bikes. I'm sitting out in the sun house. As soon as I see a crow going to interfere with the out the door, and by goodness, they run. I saw a cat there as well. He runs
so
like a jackrabbit as soon as he
John
sees me.
Malone. Is it possible that you're supplying groceries to the Robins, but you're also supplying a security service? Is that correct?
Well, yes, I'm making sure the swab boards get their good share. I've been chaired out to the sun house, and I've got a good view. And the crows, they don't get a chance when I'm there because they open the door and let it roar, and they clear off sharpish. So the small birds get their nourishment and all the rest of it. And then when I've finished my business, I usually say the stations across. I take me time, and
Now,
so the small birds have got their fill, and then the duck and winter the crows get a few crumbs.
I remember you were telling me a long time ago that you've two different sets of robins, and one of them they're very
Correct.
territorial, and one you have to go around
Yeah.
the side of the house, and they have to have a separate meal to the others. Is that correct?
That's right, because and sometimes the bloody robin that runs the other one goes around as well. He's not satisfied with what he has there, and I don't like that. They're the only birds that have that territorial nonsense, and the other birds all seem to be together. They don't seem to be
I
running one another.
just want to say that the fella that's going around to check on the others to see what they have, he sounds like a Trump robin. Okay. I think we need tariffs in the robin department.
Well, this is it. We see comparisons with the animal lives. Well, I don't know who the crows represent, but I'm not too fond of them. They want to take all, and they won't get all. Well, your Trudy is knocking about. I'm out there watching, and
Very
so
good.
I'm one of them crows. And by it, and of course, if I ever see one of them magpies, if I had a little shotgun, I
John
don't like
Malone,
them yucks at all.
that's not very Christian of you.
No, no, but anyways, I haven't got anything, so I'd just pick a stone at them if I happen to see them.
Mother of
Um,
God.
so there we are. This is it. So we've come full circle to where it's calm,
No.
and this is what President Trump. He'll be in calm waters one of the days, and things will settle down, and people will they will have a jingle in their pocket.
Yes.
Let's face it. And a lot of people now don't use cash; they have credit cards. I use cash a good bit, but I also use the credit card here and there. Oh, I do, yeah, because no point in forking out cash all the time.
Very good.
So that's the way I operate. And I presume the United States is cash. It's hardly all the credit. People want cash, don't they? Pound, shillings, and pence.
They do.
Jingle in their pocket. Pretty important.
John Malone, we will convene another time, and thank you very much for this very informative video. Onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards, and calm waters will obtain. And so I wouldn't worry too much about Trump. He's in a hurry, and I think people should recognise that calm waters will prevail.
Now you're talking.
And use a bit of persuasion with Trump. Don't be giving out. Just go over and say, listen, Donald John Trump, don't forget your mother like Frank Patterson. Where was he from? He was from Tipperary.
Now you're talking.
So put your snout down at Tipperary where Frank Patterson was from. He's gone to his maker too, earlier than what might be expected. but he's gone to his mate. He was married to one of the O'Grady's. They were sisters. They were very talented with the violin and all the rest of it. So there you are. We're after going full circle, and we're hoping the calm waters will prevail, and everybody will be hunky dory, as the fella says.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much, Oliver. Cheery boy.